Scott Young is an extraordinary individual. He speaks multiple languages, learned the MIT computer science course from scratch in just 1 year, and has accomplished so much more. Today, we're going to dive into his system for learning new subjects and skills faster than anyone else, and how you can use it to get ahead in your studies. 1. Pre-learning phase. If you wanted to hike across America, you'd need to plan ahead. You would have to decide on the route, ensure you have enough food, and have contingency plans in case things go wrong. Mastering a new subject is just like preparing for a long hike. You need to know the route, the order in which you'll learn, and the method you'll use, long before you set off. This is Scott Young's first step, pre-learning. Think about the subject you want to learn. If it's a language, you need to figure out the most important aspects to focus on and the most efficient ways to learn them. For languages, it's always about learning how to speak and engaging in conversations with native speakers. For math or engineering, it's about problem-solving skills. Additionally, you need to identify which topics build upon others. If you don't know basic algebra, there's no point learning calculus just yet. Similarly, if you can't string a sentence together in Welsh, composing a Welsh poem might be a bit too ambitious. However, there's a danger here. Pre-learning can also lead to procrastination. Planning your study and imagining yourself as a world-renowned expert can be far more fun than actually sitting down and getting started. Set a hard deadline for when your pre-learning phase will end. Scott Young recommends that no more than 10% of your entire project should be spent on the preparation phase. This keeps your research short and focused, ensuring that it helps prepare you without giving you an excuse to procrastinate. 2. The learning phase. As discussed, the way you learn can make all the difference between becoming a successful student in a seemingly impossible time frame, or wasting years learning without achieving much. Scott Young has 3 main principles behind his learning approach: focus, directedness, and drilling. These are the pillars on which the entire learning process rests. Focus is crucial. The difference between focused and unfocused learning is like the difference between having perfect vision and cataracts. Without focus, everything will take longer, be less effective, and be less enjoyable. To maintain focus, you need to eliminate external distractions like your phone, TV, and even internal distractions such as stress, anxiety, and perfectionism. Additionally, practice focus as a skill through meditation, consistency, and continual self-reflection and improvement. These practices will help you sharpen your focus, which is key to your ultra-learning project. Directedness is the next principle. The human brain isn't particularly good at transferring knowledge from one situation to another. For example, even very bright statistics students often have no better intuitive grasp of probability than those who have never taken a statistics class. So, when you're learning, make sure you're practicing in the exact context where you'll apply your knowledge. For instance, if you're preparing for a history exam, don't just review flashcards. Instead, practice writing essays from memory. This way, you're reinforcing both your historical knowledge and your ability to apply it in an exam setting. Drilling is the final principle. During your practice, you will inevitably encounter weaknesses. Perhaps your vocabulary is holding you back in a language, or your understanding of Python fundamentals is weak and it's impacting your coding projects. Once you've identified these weaknesses, you need to isolate them and do focused practice to bring those skills up to the same level as the rest of your learning. By combining these 3 principles, focus, directed practice, and drilling, you will learn faster and more effectively, enabling you to become an expert in your chosen field. 3. The next level, true expertise. I've had the privilege of speaking to several individuals whom I consider geniuses. One was a mathematician who could tell by looking at most mathematical statements whether they could be proven or not. Another was a musician who could recognize a composer's style just by glancing at a sheet of music. These individuals were brilliant, not just because they learned a lot, but because they didn't have to actively think about their subject to make groundbreaking discoveries. A lot of people demonize intuition as being a collection of biases and prejudices, but it's also the sum total of our knowledge and observations distilled into a feeling. It's the ability to cut through the noise and make bold claims when there's so much information that no one could consciously process it all. This is the level of expertise that awaits you if you follow Scott Young's system. You'll develop your skills to such an extent that you can think effortlessly and creatively about your chosen field. You'll be able to innovate, develop, and potentially push the boundaries of your field. However, this promised land requires a lot of hard work, but with Scott Young's system, you'll have the best shot at getting there.